it would cause, like at one time I had headaches, like really bad headaches. And then other times it would like stunt my growth. There's a lot of, it was presented differently every time. And every surgery, I kind of lost some function. So early on, I lost like bladder and bowel function before I actually lost my walking. Like when I lost my balance, and then walking was like the next one. But the thing is that we didn't realize this was happening every time that I was having this surgery. We like it ended up being like, oh, this is what happened after, kind of thing. So I wasn't prepared for it. Obviously, I didn't go in and be like, oh, okay, yeah, this might be the result. But immediately when I was in the hospital, I knew something was off as soon as I woke up from surgery.
Yeah, you were like, this doesn't feel the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was kind of the thing. Was I was 13, and I remember like waking up, and normally everyone's talking. I was at the children's hospital at the time, and everyone is normally like, okay, we're gonna like, we want you to do this. You can start walking, so you can walk to the playroom. Walking to the playroom meant you get to go home, and that was the thing. And so nobody had mentioned it at all. And I was like, something is off. Like nobody's bringing it up. Like something is off. Like I could tell my body.
There's something in the wind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then eventually like my doctor came and he like sat down and he like put his hand on my leg. Like, cause he was gonna tell me. And I was like, oh, that feels weird. Like that feels wrong. Like, why is it? It's never felt like that before. And so then he does his checks and stuff, and he actually thought he paralyzed me from the waist down, but it was actually a lot lower. So below my knees, it's like is where I have less function, but above it's pretty much almost it's okay, kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So how many surgeries had you had at that point? Where they had, I mean, obviously you're having evolutions every time it happens, but it's not this catastrophic evolution.
Yeah.
So number surgery was this that you knew, hey, if they say playroom, I'm going home.
I think it was like 5.
Okay.
Yeah. But I had other surgeries in between for other reasons. But I think when it came to that surgery, that was like, I think my 5th or 6th one, I believe.
So now you're heading home. And
what's
that like emotionally for you now? You've absorbed this.
I honestly don't really know. I know it was like a lot because of like the thing that like was like no one was gonna tell me kind of thing. No one was telling me up until that point. Like my doctor thought he was like he did a lot more damage, which I'm glad he didn't do more damage. But also I still to this day I can't really get him to admit like where exactly it is. I've had to get it from physical therapists and other people to explain where exactly my injury is. And also at that point, like when you're younger, everybody's goal is to get you walking again.
Right.
They're not really focused on, it wasn't treated like an injury either. So nobody actually prepared me, like taught me how to deal with my wheelchair and stuff. Because I had a wheelchair that I used for long distances. I'd use it for the mall, Disney, like just longer outings, just to like, because I couldn't handle walking that long. Yeah. But this was very different, and nobody taught me what I needed to be doing. Like a year ago, I found out I had to be doing pressure relief, which I didn't know I had to be doing. Like for like the past 7 years, I feel like that's something very important that I should have been taught.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. From the medical field, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting. That's kind of blowing my mind, I guess, as they say. You know, you would think you would get more, you know, from the medical field. I probably understand why he's not telling you much, because he's probably afraid of liability. But at this point,
exactly,
it would be nice to be educated for your long-term care and just, you know, you have more knowledge about what your body is, so you can, because he's not going to be around forever. Or if you ever want to go to a different doctor, you want to be able to articulate that, right?
Exactly. And I've tried asking him, and it's like me being like, is it here? He's like, yeah, kind of. And I'm like, is it here? And he's like, yeah, kind of. Like he won't say.
He won't pinpoint it. You're like, I'm going to have to go to another doctor who can read this chart and tell me.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, you have to get possession of your charts and everything, and then have somebody else. That seemed like that'll be a very important. But just the kind of those simple things,
Yeah, I feel like that's something very simple that I could have been told by now. we
Well,
haven't
and so many
tried
other
to go after
things.
him legally at all either. So
Yeah. I wonder though if it's kind of that situation where like the physical therapists are thinking you've already been told. You know what I mean? Like everybody's playing like who's on first because they assume that that is such a basic thing that you know or should know that somebody told you. So nobody thinks like, well, shit, maybe nobody told her.
yeah, that's something I kind of realized, and I had to be like, can you? Also, I've been a few times like, can you tell me? I've asked multiple people now at this point because like I want to make sure I'm getting the right answer. I'm like,
Yeah.
can you tell me where it is, by the way? Like, kind of thing, trying to. I'm like, I wasn't told before. Also, I've told people, and they like then they'll tell me like, oh yeah, it's here. And then my recent physical therapist that I just got, like, I'm at a new facility, and she like pulled up with like a whole thing of like showing the spine and like what connects to what part. I'm like, okay, so it is L3, kind of thing, just based on the function I have and don't have.
Which is super helpful.
Yes, it is very helpful.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, now I know. Now I know what to tell people.
Right, exactly.
And where else are you getting yourself educated? I know you're affiliated with Triumph, and I'm sure through the community you're learning more and more.
Yes, mostly through the community is what's been helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much I was missing at the previous physical therapy place that I was at before. I used to be at CCS. And so that apparently they're only allowed to offer very specific things. Even when it comes to like wheelchair design, they are only allowed to show you like, let's say there's 20 options, they're only allowed to show you 10 regardless of what insurance you have. And so that was something I just realized was holding me back for the past eight years.
Is that decision based on whatever your diagnosis is, or is that a policy from the?
It's a policy on the way the vendors can come to the facility. They can only show you 10 let's say 10 options out of 20.
Yeah.
Right, regardless, because they assume that most people's insurance is not going to cover certain things, so they just won't bring it.
Oh, gotcha.
And that's kind of the thing. They're like, oh yeah, we're actually not allowed to show you these options either, is what I just found out when I got my new chair. Yeah, that was also
It's crazy.
So were you able to get what you wanted in your new chair, or are there still things?
Yes.
So you did.
Yes, there's things I was able to get that I wanted. But all my previous chairs, I also had a doctor who was kind of holding me back as well when it came to the things I needed, like for medical equipment. I realize that now. But like my chair, they're like, oh, I had like they didn't tell you that they were limiting you as well as also the
Sure,
problem.
yeah.
If it would have been like, hey, we can only show you this much, like, okay, we can go somewhere else, or like we can figure out a different way of doing it. I wish they would have just told us, like, hey, we're limiting you, kind
To
of
be
thing.
transparent, yeah.
Yeah. But I went to this new place. They have a whole like wheelchair clinic and stuff, and they were actually able to. I was actually able to test out different chairs. Like I had not been able to sit in other chairs and test it out to see what would actually work. I tested out different back cushions, stuff like that. That's something I haven't done before.
And which chair is this for you?
I believe this is. I think it's a Time Light. I forgot exactly what it's called right now. But this is like, what do you mean? Like how many chairs?
Yeah, how many chairs had you had previous to this one?
I would maybe 4.
Fourth, yeah.
I would say 4. Yeah, because I had them for long distances, and obviously thinking about it now, like it makes sense that something that worked for me for long distances is not going to work for me full time
Every day, yeah.
But we didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I asked, because I know I just got my third in, over 20 years. Each one I probably had 10 years. Yeah. So this one I just got. And this was the first one that I was very intentional about what I wanted. It took me that long to know exactly what I didn't want and what I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it sometimes takes a while if you're doing it on your own, if people aren't advising you, right?
Right.
And holding things from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to my doctor 5 years ago. No, over 5 years ago now, before my last chair. I was like, hey, I don't think this is working for me. Can I get something different? He's like, no, you need this. And I was like, okay, but I think this is what's going to work. And he's like, no, this is what you need. I'm like, okay, you're the doctor. You're the expert here.
Yeah.
And Yeah, and so I went and that's what I had. And then now that I've gotten this trim, like it was